I tell you, I feel right at home in West Plains, Missouri. It's a lot like the foothills of the Appalachians where I live over in North Alabama. Now, where I come from, when a loved one passes away, we don't have a proper funeral home. Who we have is Brother Randy. Now, Brother Randy is a mortician and a part-time taxidermist. Well, I don't laugh about that because he don't advertise it, but if you use him for your funeralizing needs, your next deer head is mounted free. Well, my grandma and grandpa believed fervently in sitting up with the dead. None of this 30 minutes running to Walmart and then stopping by the funeral home and then going on to get something to eat. When a loved one passed away, everybody come boiling in down there at the home place. In fact, the way you could tell that somebody was having a funeral, there'd be cars lined up and down the little gravel road and a big white flower wreath right on the front door. And Grandma redid the living room just especially to accommodate the loved ones. And what she did is she made a little alcove right over by the fireplace, just about big enough so you could slide a coffin right into it. And now when it wasn't used for that, she had a couch that filled in the spot, but I never sat on that couch. No, you wouldn't find me there. Now, you know, you hear the normal funeralizing words said, the funeral phrases, oh, I'm sorry for your loss, or they've gone on to their just reward. All these things are said. Well, when my Aunt Geraldine died, somebody said, oh, God needed another angel in his choir. Well, I want you to know that was doubly wrong. And the reason why Aunt Geraldine couldn't sing, and if that had been a requirement for going to heaven, she'd have lived forever. And if you think she's an angel, just ask her ex-3 husbands about that. Well, we finally had gathered in for my Uncle Lester's funeral. Now there's a thing about having funerals in the South, and I'm sure y'all are very familiar with this. We take it serious. In fact, my job for all the loved ones when they would come in and be displayed there in Grandma's living room, my job was fly swatter boy. That's what I did. I remember standing right there when Uncle Lester passed away. Now, you got to remember that in the summer in the South, where you don't have no air conditioning and the windows are raised, you're going to get green visitors coming in through the window. And so we pulled a cheesecloth up over the viewing part of it, and my job's standing there at ready, that when one of those would fly by. Now, there's an art to this. You can't just take that and go willy-nilly hitting at it, because if you hit it down too hard like that, it makes a green, greasy spot, and that don't look nice right up there beside your loved one's face. And if you hit it too far, sideways, bugs parts splatter everywhere. Well, I was in there doing it just right, doing just my job, and my cousin Kenny was in there with me, and I do not know what possessed him, but he walked over to Uncle Lester, pulled the cheesecloth back, and put his finger right on his cheek. It sucked it in, and we looked horrified at one another, like, what have we done? And I ran over there, and I started trying to fix it, and the more I fixed it, it went like this. And it looked just like he had a big old bulge of chewing tobacco sticking out of the side of his mouth. Well, Aunt Leoma, about that time, his widow come walking through the door, and I knew we were done for. She's going to be a volcano. And so we backed over in the corner and acted real inconspicuous. She walked over, looked down at her dearly departed, and a big smile came up on her face. And she looked over at us and she says, you know, don't you Uncle Lester look so natural? She said, you know, he always had a plug of Red Hound in his mouth. And who thought to do that? I just stood there, bowed my head, and said a little prayer. Ain't God good? Thank y'all very much.